680's Richard Southern joins us on this very sunny and really nice Friday. Richard, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm tired. I was covering the election last night, so.
We're all tired, but, we know that Doug Ford is the new Premier of Ontario. It also signals a major economic shift for the province. You're talking to economists about what they're thinking the day after the election.
Yeah, what's the day after sort of comment from the economists out there? One of the big pledges by Doug Ford and the PC party was to cut the corporate tax rate in Ontario 1% to 10.5%. John Johnson is the chief strategist at Davis Ray Limited. John, will that corporate tax rate make a big economic difference?
All else equal, no, but the fact is not all else is equal. And, we're in a more competitive environment now with the U.S. having reformed their tax system. So there's certainly pressure competitively.
From a purely currency bond market financial perspective, how big of a concern is the $325 billion debt in Ontario?
Not a concern as long as you have some growth. And, we are growing. The next recession will be very difficult in Ontario, and that's, I think, when the rubber hits the road.
Will Doug Ford be good for Bay Street?
I don't know. If he doesn't listen and blunder ahead like his analogy in the U.S., then we could have a lot of problems. But certainly my view is that I'm not all that enamored by Government of Ontario bonds for the indefinite future, and I wouldn't want to hold too many of them, if any at all.
Francis, what the majority victory does do is provide a level of clarity that investors like, and we did see Hydro One stock move higher today. No surprise there.
Yeah. Well, the G7 summit is underway in Quebec. Some major trade issues on the agenda. Ooh, but the atmosphere was already super awkward because of some Donald Trump tweets.
Yeah, set the scene for a real awkward get-together. Let's take a look at some of these tweets. Trump said, Canada charges the U.S. a 270% tariff on dairy products. They didn't tell you that, did they? Not fair to our farmers. In another tweet, he says, I'm heading to Canada for the G7 for talks that will mostly center on the long-time unfair trade practice against the United States. From there, I go to Singapore for talks with North Korea on denuclearization. Won't be talking about the Russian witch hunt hoax for a while. So the remarks, Francis, set the stage to perhaps escalate that trade dispute that's very much taking flight now. Big tit-for-tat trade tariffs going on between Trudeau and Trump. And markets, they're paying close attention to this, although we did see the loonie head a little bit higher today.
The Trump trade tariffs might really hit home after hearing this next story. So Dollarama says that it may be forced to raise prices because of this trade war.
Say it ain't so, Francis. No, Dollarama forced to raise prices, it says, on food and other goods imported from the U.S. because of the tariffs that have been put in place. Dollarama says it can't rule out doing so, though it wouldn't directly raise its bottom price, its top price of $4. It also wouldn't raise food prices beyond $2, it says. But Dollarama also announcing plans to get into the e-commerce business. They want to sell more goods online. It's one of the few retailers, Francis, that's doing very well right now in Canada. It's expanding, its sales are growing, but it's not immune to the trade war that's going on.
Well, the latest Canadian job numbers are in. The results are not as good as hoped.
No, they were hoping for job gains in May, and what did we see? Job losses. 7,500 jobs were lost in May, although the unemployment rate held steady at a historic low of 5.8%. The Ontario job market virtually unchanged in the month of May. We did see the hourly wages go up quite a bit, 3.9%, and economists say that could have the Bank of Canada back looking at an interest rate hike now throughout the summer months.
Well, you're soon going to be able to stream CityNews while flying over the Atlantic Ocean. Air Canada is rolling out international Wi-Fi.
Just what you want to see, Richard and Francis, when you're on. You might need the vomit bag, Francis.
Oh, no. What are you talking about?
I'm just joking. I'm just joking. If you have a picture of watching us on the plane, please send it. We need that for our Instagram. Air Canada rolling out international Wi-Fi on its 777 planes by the end of the summer for $5. Pretty good when compared to prices on other airlines. Yeah, and it says its entire fleet, Francis, will be equipped with this by mid-2019. So internet or satellite Wi-Fi, a little bit slower than the ground-based versions, but it works anywhere, even if you're 40,000 feet above the Pacific. Of course, that's important for the business traveler that needs to stay in touch.
Wait, Trump's not going to find a way to slap a tariff on that, too, right?
He's going to use it. He'll use it to tweet when he's on the plane,
no doubt. That's right. That's true. So there's another massive Lotto Max jackpot up for grabs tonight. New research, though, finds that winning may not make you very happy after. I don't believe this survey. I don't believe it. I'd be happy.
We have people on the air all the time, right, when they're collecting their check and they say, I'm not leaving my job. but I don't know. I think a lot of people would. But the new research finds that if you win the lottery, you might actually struggle to enjoy everyday pleasures. That's what a recent survey found. They found that winning anything up to $100,000 does make you happy, but anything after that doesn't. Researchers say there are things you can do to influence your happiness, like cultivating strong relationships, spending time and money on fun experiences, and exercising. But winning a jackpot doesn't seem to boost happiness in the long term, although we wouldn't turn it down, I don't think, Fred.
You know, I think it warrants an investigative story. I think for that, the Lotto Corporation should just give me, I don't know what, a couple $1 million?
Well, yeah,
I'm not asking for 60.
We'll investigate. We'll investigate. I have the winning ticket for tonight.
When did this become we? I just heard I in that.
Just a couple bucks for Richie. That's all I need, Francis.
I'll give you $100,000 so you keep happy.
How generous.
There you go. Thank you, Richard. Have a great weekend.